Here's the truth about motivation and inspiration. It comes and goes. And when you get setbacks, guess what? It definitely goes. And nothing great is accomplished without setbacks. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe, and please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Here we are, mid-December 2025. So guess what that means? It's business/strategic planning time for all financial advisors. So what I'm going to do over the next several episodes is share with you some best practices, some do's and don'ts to give you the best outcome when it comes to your plan. So sit back, take some notes. I'm going to give you guys access to some resources also. But again, you do not want to go into the 2026 season trying to figure it out, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is like when to do the plan and kind of how to do the plan. So number one is this is not something where it's a tax return or a financial plan that you could spend an hour here, spend an hour there in your office between meetings and stuff like that. What I find to be crucial is that you're in the right state of mind to be effective. So you have to, number one, schedule the time to do it. But the next thing is like, okay, what really matters? You can have a list of goals. Like, if that's going to serve you, you want like a one pager of things you want to accomplish in 2026, and that's what you want to roll with. I guess it's better than nothing. The way that we look at putting plans together for our clients, we do a 10-year window, a 3-year window, and a 1-year window. We basically model the EOS framework. A lot of our clients use EOS. So when you're doing VTOs, it all kind of aligns and fits in that regard. But if you just want to do something simple, and that's fine too, a one pager will be fine. Now, when to do it? I personally like the idea of wrapping up this year, getting some downtime, getting the batteries charged again, and then going into a planning window. Where you should never do your plan is in your office, in your tactical business environment. You could do it at home, I guess. If you're going to go away, that's cool. But I want you to go to a place that's inspirational. Now, maybe you have a home office that you really like. Maybe it feels good to you. It's the right vibe, the right energy. You want to be in the right energy place. So whatever that means to you, that's where I would do it. And then I'd only want you to do it or start the process when you want to do it, not because you have to do it. So let me be very clear. I truly believe business planning is a non-negotiable in this game. With that said, if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I really don't feel like doing this, but I got to," my answer to that question would be, don't do it. Take the day, come back and do it in. So here's the bottom line: does it have to be done by January 1st? The answer is no. Nothing magical about that. Let me be very clear. Most of my clients, quite frankly, they're not going to start their game till January. I forget what the money is, January 5th or something like that. So, I mean, I've got clients that are not going to start their planning till January 2nd. They'll take January 2nd and 3rd. They'll get it locked down and they'll rock and roll January 5th. Is that appropriate? Does that work? Yes. Could you do it before the holidays? Yes. Could you do it during the holidays? Yes. Whatever makes sense to you. Okay? But I want you to write framework. What's next? How many goals? So setting clear objectives. It's very important that it's tangible, measurable, deliverable. So please don't say, I'm going to try to grow next year, or I'm going to get better at, right? Better, more are not goals. Those are concepts. And I want not a lot of goals. My current way I do goal setting and business planning for my clients, we have two singular frameworks. We have a business framework and a personal framework. So in essence, only two top goals. And I'll give you like an example on the business side, because personal is going to be all over the place. So top goal business. I want to produce between 1.75 and $2 million of top line revenue in 2026. Okay, that's the top line. That's the goal that matters. That's the mission. Simple. Now, the next element of this is, why is that a must for you? So most human beings do when they do goals, they come up with a goal and their brain goes immediately to, well, how am I going to accomplish that? I call it the bookend approach. Here's what I want. Here's how I'm going to get it. There's two other steps that need to be there. So assuming it's 1.75 to 2 million. Now, what did you notice about that? It's a range. It's a range. Why ranges? Because our industry and profession is dynamic. You don't know what the next referral is going to be. It's going to be $500,000 of assets or $5 million of assets. We definitely have no idea what the market's going to do in terms of, is it going to be up next year, down, sideways, whatever, right? So there's variables, is my point. So if you say pure fast fail goal, you're creating a very small target to hit. I like wide. So the bottom number should be reasonable. The top number should be unreasonable / impossible. Why? Because you want to stretch your problem solving. And I'll get to that maybe in this episode, definitely in the next episode. So what the goal is, why it's a must. So not like, why do you like it, or wouldn't it be nice, or tell me why you're going to try to accomplish that. No. Why is it a must? Because if you can't come up with a set of compelling reasons, chances are you will not accomplish the goal. Why? Because the why is the commitment, not the motivation. Let me be very clear on this. Putting a plan together in the way I view things is not about getting you motivated or getting you inspired. It's about getting you committed. Because here's the truth about motivation and inspiration. It comes and goes. And when you get setbacks, guess what? It definitely goes. And nothing great is accomplished without setbacks. So when you're committed to things, you'll plow through those setbacks to accomplish the mission. If you have setbacks and you're motivated, you will lose your motivation and abandon it. Does that make sense? But human beings 101. So the why has got to be what's going to drive you to get up in the morning when you don't want to take the action when you don't want to accomplish the things you don't want to. It's commitment. Very simple. Okay, so what the goal is, right? So bottom line, reasonable, top line, unreasonable. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Why it's a must. Not a like to. Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment Just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. Next, who do you need to become to pull this off? Because if you're going to sit there and say to yourself, oh, I'm good, I'm just going to work a little harder, number one, you're absolutely lying to yourself. Number two, you will not accomplish the goal. And don't take my word for this. Look at your own history. Are you the same person today, December 2025, as you were in December 2020? Or how about even better, December 2019? Or are you the same person? Or are you the same professional? Or have you evolved? Have you gotten smarter? Have you become more experienced? Have you become more resourceful? The answer to all those things better be yes, right? In other words, we evolve. So don't sit there and tell yourself, oh, I just am who I am. I don't like change. You're lying to yourself. You've done change. All human beings do change. You just don't recognize it. What I'm saying is recognize it. So who do you need to become? Now, some of you are like, well, how do you answer that question? So for example, let's just say when you start thinking about how you operate well, who do I need to become? I need to become a person that gets up at 5:30 a.m. every day. I'm a person that needs to make sure they do their morning ritual each and every day. I'm a person that needs to make sure that I have a daily game plan each and every day. I need to become a person that becomes fearless in asking for referrals and introduction. I must go for the no, right? Like that's what we're looking for. Like I want you to build like a set of characteristics on how you need to roll and how you need to roll in order to accomplish that goal. So what the goal is, in range, why it's a must, who do I need to become? Now I want to go back to the goal for a second. I want the top to be like impossible. Why? Like, doesn't that set you up for failure? No, the bottom goal is reasonable. Again, growth. So it's still greater than the year before. And then this number, so this number, like you could reverse engineer. Yeah, all I need to do is bring in another 12 households at 500,000 and 6 million. It'll be fee based. So that 6 million will extrapolate to $60,000 of revenue. Last year I did X, so X plus, and I'll be in the range, right? So, simple, things go wrong, still going to accomplish things, stuff like that. So let's just say, like I said, 1.75 to 2. The $2 million number, like, man, I have no idea. Like, I don't know how we're going to pull that off. That's a great goal. Why? Because in the mornings when you wake up, are you going to think about the 1.7 number or the $2 million number? And this is very important. Most human beings will think about how to get to the 175. And so your brain, which is, by the way, is the most powerful computer on planet Earth, will solve your $1.75 million problem. It will give you strategies, ideas, concepts, and a game plan, because that's what you asked it to do. Now, does that mean it happens in like instantaneously? No, not always, but it will solve for you. That's why it's critically important you put the $2 million problem in front of it, not the 1.75. You put the $2 million problem, you may go, hey, how am I going to do 2 million next year? I have no idea. Okay, next morning you wake up, you do your morning ritual, you ask yourself, hey, how am I going to do 2 million? Uh-oh, I don't know, I have no idea. And that can go on for days. Does that mean, oh man, I got the wrong goal? No. Your subconscious has not come up with the answer to the question yet. But I can tell you in decades of not my own experiences, but also my clients' experiences, that when you put an impossible goal in front of your mind for a long enough period of time, eventually you will start getting ideas, options, pathways, strategies. But you got to stay with it. Because if you can solve the $2 million, 175 is the byproduct, right? It'll happen. So you focus on the 2. I just want to go back to that because that's such a critical piece of the framework, okay? So framework, what the goal is, range, Top line impossible, why it's a must, who I need to become. Now, the how part for most of you is the 5-minute conversation. So let's just say, for example, we did 1.5 last year, and so our range is 1.75 to 2. So I've got a delta of $250,000. So I can extrapolate that, right, to be what? About $25 million. Again, simple math. So if you're doing financial planning and pure advisory, you have a $25 million problem, basically, right? $250,000. So your brain goes, I've never, how am I going to accomplish that? And so your brain goes, okay, so what do we need to do? Well, first of all, if you have that kind of revenue, you have a good number of clients. Number one, I got to make sure I have all my clients' money. So I need to run balance sheets and optimization financial plans. What else do I need to do? I need to really strengthen my COI relationships. So I need to do that. What else do you need to do? I need to really be super proactive in my referral game. Well, what else do you need to do? I need to really think about adding more estate planning to my practice to drive more potential insurance situations, right? Protection situations. How you're going to accomplish that is going to be the easiest part of this, right? It's establishing the goals first, why it's a must, who you need to become. The how-to is very simple. Now, $25 million, we'll just keep it simple math. What most advisors will do is take $25 million divided by 12, and they'll say, well, we need $2 million, whatever it is, $100,000 a month. And then January comes and you only did $1 million. And then February comes, you only did $1.5 million. And by March, you abandon the plan because you already set yourself up to fail. So one of the things that's very important, you do not use what we call flat line math. Never take an annual goal and divide it by equally between either months or quarters. Do not do that. Why? Because number one, there's an ebb and flow and rhythm to our business. That's the first thing. But the second thing, I'll ask you this question. If we're looking at it monthly, where are you going to have more momentum? The first month of a year or the 10th month of a year? Where do you think the odds are you're bringing in more money? Obviously, the 10th month of a year, right? You're playing the game for those months. Every month you get better. You build a bigger pipeline. You get more opportunity. So in other words, by dividing by 12, all you're doing is setting yourself up to be frustrated, fail in the first several months, and then under appreciating what you're going to do in the second half of the year. So we don't do that. All right, just don't. It'll play mind games with you in my experiences. And you're not going to know how you're going to do it. Like we talked about earlier, we don't know what the next referral is going to bring. We don't know what client's going to have a liquidity event this year, upcoming year. We just don't know. In most cases. Now, some cases you may know. You may deal with business owners. And look, it's a great strategy to use. 2 mini projects real quick. Then I'll get you guys out of here for this episode. Strategy number 1. For 2026, what clients are retiring in 2026? Or they're entering a window where you can do an in-service distribution. That's the first set of numbers you need. The second set of numbers, if applicable, is what business owners that are clients are going to be transacting their business in 2026. They're going to have a buyer or seeking a buyer, right? Liquidity events. So there's ways to kind of get a feel for what's available for us, right? And so that way we can kind of extrapolate and predict, and that's a good thing. But ultimately, you want to have one goal for the business, which in my vast experiences is going to be an economic number goal, and then, household, AUM, premium, planning fees, all that will fit underneath in the house, right? In the fourth box, how I'm going to accomplish it. But always figure the top one. So whatever your numbers are going to be, whatever your spread is going to be, you want to make sure that the top line number is uncomfortable. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I can do it. That's okay. That's the number we problem solve for. Okay? So that is episode number 1 of our series on how to go ahead and create a great strategic plan for 2026. Take action on these recommendations, and I will be back with you guys next Friday for part number 2. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to magellannetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.